With me now is Husam Zomlot. He is head of the Palestinian mission here in the UK. And before that, he was the envoy to Washington, D.C. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Christian.
So you've heard what the former Prime Minister talked about, and he's going to be speaking to your leader, to your President Mahmoud Abbas, and they came pretty close in terms of maps, in terms of, you know, some kind of two-state solution that looked real. He also said Abu Mazen, Mahmoud Abbas, is the only negotiator capable and willing to engage for peace. Would you say that's still the case?
Of course, and he's right there. President Abbas has been a very principled statesman with a vision all along. He has been very consistent all of his political career. He has been always gearing the Palestinian nation and people towards a negotiated two-state solution. He has stood by his commitments all along, unwavering, regardless of the political zigzagging and circumstances. And today, President Abbas really appeared before the world at the Security Council, that man with that vision, that man with that commitment, that man that defends not only the people of Palestine and our rights, but defends our humanity, our universal values, defends our internationalism. And what Prime Minister Olmert just said is vital, that it has to be based on the 1967 borders, any solution, and we have a partner in President Abbas and the Palestinians, and this is exactly what the Trump plan has demolished.
Okay, so that's really interesting, because you remember, to me, Jared Kushner, the day of the unveiling, said, you know, this is the first maps that we've seen, it's the first maps that we've shown, I couldn't never find any other maps. And you just heard Prime Minister Olmert say there was clearly a map that he had, that he shared with Palestinian President Abbas, and they look very different from the map that the Trump administration has put forward. So all of that, I want to know your reaction to the fact that your president could not even muster the support, having come all the way from Ramallah on the West Bank to the United Nations, to get a draft resolution passed, to even propose it, because of pressure from Israel, pressure from the United States, of course.
I think my president today was really the one who won the day. I believe he won it not only for us, the Palestinians, he won it for the rest of the world. He won it for our international system. It's not only what he said, and what he said was historic, President Abbas. But
in what way?
It's where he said it.
What way?
In the way that there is hope, in the way that we are available for that hope, and that together we will protect our laws, our rules, our international system and order, and the Security Council is the place to do so. That's number one. Number two, how come all the bully of the Trump administration, all the blackmail of all states worldwide, America has used its full leverage to literally threaten every state directly, yet we get an absolute consensus by our people, tens of thousands in the streets today in the West Bank, consensus to reject this plan, which has nothing to do with peace. Consensus, unanimous decision by the Arab League, all Arab states, the same Islamic states, the same European Union rejection of the plan, the same African Union, and today the 14 countries of the Security Council came up with statements very clear, rejecting the plan, rejecting these attempts, rejecting the deviation from international resolutions. Only the US, next to Israel today, in front of our president, was isolated. We knew there would not be a resolution, Christian. Yeah. I mean, the U.S. would...
But you knew that you wanted to propose one. You wanted to at least take a text in. Already it had been watered down under pressure. I'll tell you the truth. Couldn't even take that in.
I'll tell you the truth. The so-called Trump plan, which is not a plan, by the way, and I read it for the 5th time, I think it's tantamount to a war crime against humanity. Lawyers will have to study this. Will have to study the amount of hatred, racism, segregation, ethno-engineering in this plan that I think implicates all those who wrote it. However, the moment we rejected this plan, Christian, the moment President Abbas rejected this plan, and with him the entire Palestinian people, it was enough. What we have been doing since then with the Arab states, with the Islamic world, with the African Union, with the European Union, and today the Security Council and the 14 members minus the US, was actually to protect ourselves, all of us.
You know, don't you,
to protect the international system. So I think we, the small Palestinians, against all this bully, I really believe, have won. Have won because the message is loud and clear, and it has received the unanimous support of the international community, minus Mr. Trump and Israel.
Okay, but also, as you know, the special envoy, the permanent representative of Tunisia, it was Tunisia and Indonesia who proposed this.
Yes.
The Tunisian has been fired under severe pressure, according to everything that I've been told and that I've been you know, working. What can you tell me? What happened to the Tunisian?
I don't need to tell you. The Tunisian foreign minister just released a statement about the situation. And in that statement by the president, they were saying their support to the rights of the Palestinian people is absolutely rock solid.
Okay.
And waterproof. That incident has to do with coordination. And Tunisia remains.
And you believe that?
I do believe that. I believe what I see. I believe that the resolution of the Arab states was absolutely clear. I believe the 14 members. I believe the foreign minister of Belgium today. I believe that the world wants to protect not only the Palestinians, the world wants to protect itself. I believe the world wants to return.
Okay, let's say all of this is true.
Their system,
clearly the rest
order.
of the world is having to battle between sympathy and international law for the Palestinians and the superpower, the United States, which wields a huge amount of power these days. So my question is, will President Abbas, after he's spoken to Prime Minister Zomlot or anybody, take this Trump peace plan as a flaw and negotiate and try to get the best deal they possibly can?
What plan?
I'm just asking you, will he come to the table under this circumstance?
What plan? This is a so-called plan that was put together by a U.S. team that is directly implicated in the Israeli illegal colonization for all these years. Implicated directly. All of them come from the real estate slum business, all of them personally related to Trump, and all of them directly involved in the Israeli illegal settlement expansion in the West Bank. All of them. They put together a plan, they call it a plan, and in that plan they demolish everything we have built and invested in for all these years. To take it as a starting point is all what they want. The real intention of the plan is actually to corner Israel into a destiny that is fait accompli. They want to trap Israel into one destiny only, apartheid. One destiny only, a perpetual conflict.
But clearly the United States does not want to do that.
And that's why today's message by President Abbas was absolutely crucial.
But clearly the United States would not want to make Israel an apartheid state.
No,
so they don't want to do that.
No, they do. If I show you the maps, it's apartheid. You know what? It's a house
arrest. But they wouldn't see it as that.
No. It's a house arrest formula. They want to put us under our own consent in our houses, surrounded by walls, in disconnected communities, and therefore we will not get that immediately. According to the plan, we will only get that if we behave in a certain way. The plan does not mention rights. The plan starts with peace to prosperity, as if we are a nation of beggars and in need of money. By the way, they don't know anything about our history, and they don't know how much affluent we are and how much we have been the cardinal of civilization. By the way, we have produced almost every prophet, from Prophet Abraham, the father of all prophets, buried in Hebron, to Jesus Christ in Bethlehem. We are a nation that is very rooted and very rich. They think that the root to this is bribery and bully to us.
Now let me ask you another question.
That's why if it happened to Palestinians, if we allowed it to happen to us, it's just a matter of a question of who's next and who's next. That's why President Abbas today did what he did. I think today we did it for humanity. We did it for the world. We did it for you. We did it for the U.S. values and the Bill of Rights. We did it actually for our lesson after the Second World War, the horrors of the Second World War, because of the Holocaust, the most evil act. We did it because of the never again. So today we found ourselves, Palestinians, in defense of all that. And I think we wanted to defend the next. We wanted from now to preempt any possibility of these bullies to actually undermine the rights of nation.
I have to ask you,
the rights of nation.
I have to ask you a question. Obviously, clearly, you have a lot of sympathy around the world. I'm still not convinced about the Arab states. I think they seem to want to get rid of this problem. However, I want to ask you something even more significant. As you know, there's a Palestinian Iraqi writer. Her name is Zenia Agha. She works for Palestinian Policy Network. And in the New York Times, no less, last week, she wrote about your leadership. The real lesson here is the disposability of the Palestinian partner, no matter how acquiescent it might be. The marginalization of the Palestinian Authority by Mr. Trump and Mr. Netanyahu has demonstrated once and for all that Palestinians have no place in any future plans. Your answer to that?
My answer is that this is exactly what the so-called Trump-Kushner plan intends to. It wants to trap Israel into apartheid and segregation and annexation and perpetual conflict, permanent occupation, and it wants to wage psychological warfare against us. They want us to press the self-destruct. They want us to abandon our own righteous demands and legitimate demands of ending the occupation, establishing our own sovereign state, our right for self-determination. That's Woodrow Wilson term, the U.S. President Woodrow Wilson. And what we are going to do now is what our president said in the Security Council.
Which is?
We will double down on our demand for statehood, sovereignty, independence, freedom, the right of our refugees. We will double down on our ability to impose our rights on the ground. Maybe this is not the time to have a negotiated two-state solution via a U.S.-led process. The U.S. has discredited itself, but it is the time for us to double our investment together with all the international community that you have seen today in the Security Council to actually go ahead in the vision of achieving peace based on a two states on the 1967 borders. And I believe what Trump did in the end has really revealed everything. It revealed how far a U.S. president can go in damaging the U.S. status, the U.S. leverage, in actually subcontracting the United States of America to the benefit not of one country, of one man that is called Netanyahu. And I believe today the Palestinians have so much to breathe for, to celebrate, and to go ahead in our long journey towards freedom.
It was interesting, very interesting to hear the former Prime Minister, Olmert, who negotiated with your president, speak very deliberately about the 1967 line. So that's an issue that remains alive in some quarters. We'll see what happens after the election and in the future. Husam Zomlot, thank you very much indeed for joining me.